everyone. I'm Tim Mackey with Vista Consulting, and I want to spend a few minutes talking to you guys today about budgeting in regard to your law firm or budgeting as it applies to any business in general. When I say budgeting, I do not mean that we're going to take your chart of accounts and go through every line item and say, next year we're not going to spend more than this on whatever that line item is. My definition of budgeting is actually a projection of your anticipated revenue and expenses, let's just say for the next year, and we'll get into some details about that in a second. But you want to project that, what you think is going to happen, and then through your accounting software, compare that budgeted number, that expected number, to what actually happened, and you get a delta, you get a difference. And if that difference is a material number and you don't know why that change occurred or why that difference is there, then it should be dug into. I call that Management 101, something different than you expected, and then trying to understand why so you can make an adjustment. I want to give you an example. If you for example, you budgeted $25,000 for marketing in a year. And when you look at your marketing budget for a month, you see that you have $40,000 in 1 month. Well, obviously that's going to show a big difference in the difference column itself. So you're going to dig into that. And if you know that, hey, we made a decision that we were going to invest more in marketing for a specific project, and obviously that's different than what we budgeted, then that's okay. I'm not saying that there's anything wrong with a difference, but if the difference is there and you don't know why it's there, is when it should be really dug into. Budgeting is very, very important. In fact, I have never gone through this process of setting up a budget with a client in any business that things were not learned through the process. Just looking at each individual line item on your financial statement and saying, okay, this is what we did last year, and knowing what I know about next year, we should budget this. We should project this number for next year. That's what I'm really talking about doing. And you can get as scientific as you want on how you allocate that annual number to months. The easy way, obviously, is just divide that annual number by 12, put it in your accounting software, and look at budget to actual every month. Lots of times, though, there are cyclical things that happen. I'll give you an example. Malpractice insurance lots of times is paid quarterly. So instead of dividing that annual number by 12, simply divide it by 4 and put it in the proper months. So you won't have to do these mental gyrations on your budget if possible. And the larger firms with a bigger accounting department can be better at this and getting very scientific about every expense. I do not encourage that when setting up your first budget. Let's just look at the annual number, divide by 12, and then on a monthly basis, start looking at budget to actual. And then if there are major differences in that delta column, then we want to dig in and find out why. That's just Management 101. So that's budgeting from the Vista standpoint. Thank you for being with us today.